Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Anida Hairunisa, and here I would like to tell you about speech error, that is malapropism. So before we go to the speech error, especially in malapropism, I would like to tell you about speech production. So, speech production is the process of turning the intent to say a word into articulated speech using the brain and vocal apparatus. So this is just a general statement about speech production, and if we have deliberate or not deliberate mistakes to speak or speech, it can called a speech error. Now we are going to the speech error. So from Goldrick and Talon 2007, they say that speech errors are unintentional deviations from the target from one intends to produce. And here Boomer and Lever say that speech error or a slip of the tongue is an involuntary deviation in performance from the speaker's current phonological, grammatical, or lexical intention. And there are some speech error, there are some types. Here I will share to all of you about the types of speech error, but only some types of speech error. They are addition, blends, deletion, exchange, lexical selection error, malapropism, shift, spoonerism, substitution, filled pause, silent pause, interjection, and etc. And if you want to more know about speech error, you can Google, because you will find so many types speech error there. Okay, now we are going to discuss about malapropism, the one of speech error. So here, Hart said that malapropism is a confuse of words in which an appropriate word is replaced by one with similar sound but ridiculously inappropriate meaning. And here there are Davinsky and Holcomb say that malapropism is the replacement of one word or more with a similar sounding word. And here is the last definition about malapropism. Malapropism from Zelensky. He said that malapropism is actually an accidental or deliberate criticism created by using some of the wrong words that sound similar, which are originally intended to be used. So, from three definitions of malapropism here, we can conclude that malapropism is a verbal mistake that the word substitute with another word, that the word is have similar sounds but have different meaning, and these mistakes, malapropism, often create humorous situations. And here, types of malapropism. There are two types of malapropism. The first is classical malapropism and the second is non-classical malapropism. The classical malapropism, it is like if the sentence gives a humorous effect and social motivation. The error word is not the real word. The words don't even exist in the dictionary. The speakers just made up the word for humorous purposes. So this is like a deliberate sentence from someone. And the second is non-classical malapropism. That is, the error word is the real word and it exists in dictionary and also causing humorous effect. So this is like not deliberate. So this is a natural, a real mistakes, real speech error. And here, the causes of malapropism. It is like why it can be. So the first is the word or phrase that is used means something different from the word the speaker or writer intended to use. The second, the word or phrase that is used sounds similar to the word that was apparently meant or intended. For example, using obtuse instead of acute is not a malapropism because it is different words, different sounds, and different meaning. And here, the example, using obtuse when one means abstruse would be. So, these two words have similar sound, but different word and different meaning. The third, the word or phrase that is used has a recognized meaning in the speaker's or writer's language. And then the fourth, the resulting utterance is nonsense. And the last, a malapropism can technically be a deliberate misuse of a word. So like I tell you before, malapropism can be deliberate and not deliberate. And now, here I would like to give you a real example from this video.
So can I please ask you to give him a rousing deacon applause? The next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here in such numbers and such enthusiasm to help launch this campaign. You don't get good decisions from a government if all of the decisions are simply made by one person. No one, however smart, however well educated, however experienced, is the suppository of all wisdom. And I believe that we will be a much better government because we have a very strong team.
So can I please ask you to give him a rousing deacon?
Okay, from this video, we can take the sentence of the former Prime Minister of Australia. He is Tony Abbott, that he said, "No one is the suppository of all wisdom." The word suppository here different meaning and have different context meaning for his speech, because suppository means that the term for medicine that is not taken through the mouth. So the word suppository here should be substitute, or the right word is repository, because it have similar sounds but different meaning. Okay, we go to the next example from videos.
It's too much. I'm not going for the 16th chapel. It's too much. I'm not going for the 16th.
Okay, from this video, it is Justin Bieber, and the interviewer is David Letterman. So, David Letterman had just commented that Bieber's tattoos were becoming like the art in the Sistine Chapel. The Sistine Chapel, which ornately covers almost every inch of available space. But Justin Bieber never heard of this world-famous 15th century chapel in Vatican City, whose frescoes are painted by Michelangelo. So, Justin Bieber said 16, then 16, because Bieber never heard this word before, although these have similar sounds, but this is have different word and meaning. Okay, now we are going to the third video.
Where do you go from here, Mike?
I don't know, man. I might get fade into Bolivian, you know what I mean? I don't have nowhere to go and nothing to do, you know what I mean? I just go fly my pigeons on the roof in New York.
Where do you go from here, Mike?
Okay, from this video, he is Mike Tyson, who had interviewed by a reporter, and he said that I might just fade into Bolivian. But I think he want to say oblivion than Bolivian, and this has become the most funniest malapropism out there. And because Bolivian and oblivion have similar sounds and have different meaning, so like I have told you before about similar sound and different meaning of the two words. Okay, now we are going to the last video, and this video will give two examples from Mrs. Malaprop deliberate sentence in Rivals. And why she said this? Because it have goals, that is to make the audience laugh.
I would have her trained in geometry, that she might know something of the contagious countries.
Okay, from this video, we can see that there are two examples from Mrs. Malaprop deliberate. The first one is geometry. She said geometry rather than geography. And the second is contagious. Say contagious rather than contagious.
I would have trained in geometry.
Okay, after we know the cause and the example of malapropism, now we are going to know how to avoid the malapropism. So the first is start to conscious and permanent abstinence from this error. Is wide exposure to similar sounding words and their varying meanings. And the second, do proofread, but this proofread used for literature. And the third is avoid using long and complicated words that you may or may not know the definition of, as malapropism are all too easy to commit on accident. And more enrich and study the meaning of the vocabularies, so we can more study, more read, more enrich our knowledge about vocabularies, so we can put the sentence, the word correctly. Okay, that's all about malapropism, the definition, the cause, the example, and how to avoid malapropism in real life. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I think enough for this. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.